with Uniqo Williams. That's right, it's your boy coming at you with a special today. Typically, we know that we do my show on Thursdays on Spotify podcast and Google Podcasts, but we're doing a special episode today. And we're gonna drop a special episode. Typically on YouTube we do that every Friday, but we're gonna drop that today. This has been a very important case. So as we know, over the past few weeks, the Minneapolis, Minnesota, and its judicial system and its law enforcement has been the center of what seems like Western humanity, Western civilization, if you will. As we all watched the trial of Derek Chauvin and the murder of George Floyd. And as you know, I've been right there with you all the way from the beginning of this thing till today, till we reached the final step in this particular situation. So, court was adjourned as far as the defense resting their case and the prosecution resting their case. It was adjourned on Monday around, and I'm going to speak in Eastern Standard Time because, you know, everything's Eastern Standard Time. But we know that this took place Central Time Zone. And after the cases were rested and all the jury stuff was out, I think they were let out to have their first bit of deliberation yesterday around 4-ish, something like that. Closer to 5, I would say. But they let them out to start doing their deliberations. They're only allowed to do it until 7:30. So today they would come in and they had from 9 a.m. to 7:30 again, or 7:30 p.m. to deliberate in regards to this. And to see if they could decide if Derek Chauvin was guilty of second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter. So there was a little bit of time yesterday, and they came in today, and just after a little over 10 hours of deliberation, the jury said that they were ready with their verdict. So that was around 2-3 o'clock, something like that, and they said they would let us know between 4:30 and 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It is now 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, my time as I'm recording this. So a little after 5, the jury came in. Judge Cahill read off as such: second degree, guilty. Second degree murder. Third degree murder, guilty. Second degree manslaughter, guilty. Derek Chauvin the verdict was guilty on all 3 charges. I'll tell you what those charges are real quick. I apologize, I'm no lawyer. But second degree murder is saying that Derek Chauvin assaulted George Floyd with his knee, which unintentionally caused his death. The third degree murder is said that he acted with a depraved mind. He knew what he was doing, but he didn't. Just look up depravity. It's not a great word. You don't want to be known as depraved. They use that word in Gotham. And then the manslaughter charge is saying that he showed culpable negligence. So he didn't render any aid, or something happened to him and he just didn't lift a finger. Like at some point, or a knee at that. But at some point he could have lifted his knee and been done with this. And he didn't do that. So he then asked, can I stay out on bond? Essentially, can I stay on bond? His bond was revoked. Take his ass back to Hennepin County Jail. That's it. In 8 weeks, he'll be sentenced. In 8 weeks, he will be sentenced. After they get all the paperwork and all that stuff taken care of and some of the legalities and all that, He'll be sentenced. So we'll be right back to talk about that again in the future for the sentencing. Yeah, yeah, you don't understand. It feels like a weight has been lifted off of my shoulder and off a lot of people's shoulders. A very heavy weight at that. Because I'll never forget I was sitting right there off camera doing some work. And I'm on Twitter and I see this video and I'm watching it all the way through. Now, mind you, this is May 25th. This is after the pandemic. The pandemic, we started closing stuff down March 23rd, 2020. This is May 25th. And I'll never forget. I'll never forget, like, how I felt as I'm watching this. I just knew that at some point, he was going to let up off of him. He never did. I watched it all the way until George Floyd went into the ambulance. And I was just in shock. And I was angry. I was saddened. I never felt like that before. You know, with cameras and all that stuff going on that we have nowadays. And for something like that to be captured, I mean, I've seen a lot of crazy stuff on camera, but I've never seen that happen. And I immediately projected myself onto George Floyd laying on the ground. That could be me. And I already was feeling some type of way about how I was getting treated in a sense in my professional, not my professional, my Clark Kent job. I was already feeling some type of way. And then that happened. And I started feeling helpless. I started feeling like there's nothing I can do. I was mad because, like, I'm sitting there like, man, if I was there, I see this man dying, I'm tackling him. But it's the respect that we got for the badge and the respect we have for the law. And, not too many times have we fought against the law or we fought against the enforcers of the law and won. We don't have a great history of that as black people. We don't have a great history. I just cry and cry sometimes thinking about all the black men and all that, and black women, or people of color in general. All the people that before phones and cameras were readily available. How these things probably happened to them and people just got away with it. Today marked a day where we won, but at the cost of another life. And what we're taking away from this today, after watching that and going through the protest and going through the rioting era, if they want to call it that, and all the people that sneak in to mess up the whole point of the protest and just everything that was going on. Remember? That's what everybody said during that time. With everything that's going on. Sometimes I didn't know if they were talking about the pandemic or if they were talking about the protest. Or just and did they loop them in together? Sometimes I couldn't tell. Sometimes I just couldn't tell. And with that being on all of us, on top of the pandemic, because we were all in the house at the time, the whole world had to watch this because that's all that was going on. That was it. Everybody's in the house. You had no choice but to sit back and watch this. And I think a lot of people open their eyes. Like we tell people that this stuff happens to us all the time. But now you see. Now you see it's not just a bunch of smoke and mirrors. We're not just talking and crying just to be crying. This stuff really happens and it got caught on camera. Got caught on camera, on multiple cameras. Hell, shout out to that Speedway camera. Shout out to the city cameras that caught this on all the angles. And the worst part about it was, remember the next day they showed us the picture. It wasn't just Derek Chauvin on his neck. It was 3 other officers holding him down too, which further lets you know that all of this was unnecessary. All of it was unnecessary, especially the neck part when there's 3 other grown men there. But here we go. And there you have it. And here we are on April 20th, 2021. And we got a win. We got a W. But let's not stop there. Let's take some time to soak this in for a second. But let's liken this to basketball. Imagine we are a bad team. We are a bad team. And we come into the next game. And we finally scored. Not just scored, but we got the first basket of the game. We are up. We are up. We don't need to celebrate that completely. Be proud of what just happened. But this game has 4 quarters. And we got a long way until we win. And a lot of that is going to start with us having us as people of color, as human beings. We're going to have to come together on this somehow. And stop. Maybe one day we don't have to use people of color and black anymore. Maybe at some point humans can be humans. That solves the problem. But we need to have the same respect for each other, because we talk a lot about, black people being accosted by, police and all that stuff. What about what we do to each other? Now, we got to look inward sometimes, y'all, because we do a lot to hurt each other. But now we found us a common ground, and this is the perfect time for unity. It's the perfect time for us to find, to reach out to, our Asian Pacific friends. It's time for us to reach out to our Hispanic, Latina, I apologize, our friends. It's time to just stop looking at our differences and start looking at what we are and who we are as human beings. We have to do that. It only makes sense. This is no time for us to relax. This is not the time to relax and we did it. It's over. It's not over. Remember when Barack Obama got into office and everything seemed like it was cool? Obviously some people were throwing little shots. They were throwing shots about Obamacare. Hey, he they would whisper about his ethnicity and all that stuff. But for the most part, when Obama was in office, for the most part, it just felt everything was it was positive. Everything was positive. But what happened after his 2 terms were up? What happened? Jay-Z said in one of his songs, when the grass is cut, the snakes will show. So the grass was cut. And and people just started to show themselves. They were back. The people that was laying in the shadows, waiting for the opportunity to jump back. Who's to say that that's not happening again? Because people show who they truly were. People show who they truly were when they got back in a situation where they could be them true selves and feel comfortable about it. Now, it's been kind of quiet, But don't forget, there are going to be incels. There are going to be there's going to be a group of rebellious people that are smart enough to bide their time, wait their turn until they can strike again. There's no room in this world for anybody that wishes hurt and pain and wish that they were better, or feel like they're better than people, and live in this world like that. We don't have a place for you here, and we need to weed those people out, and tell them, man, you got to come along with us, or there's no place for you here. You know, and what I'm most happy about in this situation, I'm happy. I lost my paternal grandparents, but I still have my maternal grandparents, and I'm happy that they got to see this day. It's a day they went through a day when they didn't know that they would be able to drink out of whatever water fountain they wanted to. They came from a day where they didn't know that they would be able to have the same wages and opportunities as other people. They didn't know. They came from a time when those weren't things that happened, but here they are, and they lived through all of it. And if anybody could be a testament that things can change, it's them. I believe they knew that a day like this would come where the police would have to be held accountable for their actions. And I'm happy that they got to see a day like this. But as long as we're here, we still have to keep on fighting. This is our chapter in the Bible. When they dropped that new Bible, this chapter was lit because it was full of people that had hope. There's plenty of stories that tell you to keep on going. There's plenty of stories that inspire you to be a good person. And this can be the one. This can be where we come up with as close to a utopian society as possible. I don't know if I should use that word because people be as close to a society where people just love each other, and it is what it is. Just that, love. So I'm hoping we can get to that. So again, just to recap, Derek Chauvin, um, he was convicted on all three charges. So the second degree murder carries a 40 year max sentence. The third degree carries a 25, and the manslaughter carries a 10. Sentencing will be in 8 weeks. We'll keep our eye on that. But I tell you what, one thing to think about too. I don't know if you saw it, but definitely take a look at it. Even under that face, under that mask, I didn't see a lick of remorse. Not one. I'm not sure he cared either way. He sat there and wrote in that notebook and everything. I think he was acting like, how you be in church, and you know how church can be sometimes. When you was a kid, you get the drawing and stuff, or you take, oh no, grandma, I was taking notes. He wasn't doing nothing there drawing. But let's not forget, going forward, he has the right to appeal. There's a couple of things in this situation that could help him out in appeals, such as some of the fact that the jury wasn't sequestered, which is to be in solitude in a sense from the outside world. I mean, but let's face it, everything you can't do anything without knowing about it. So like if you're a jury, you can 100% go look it up on your phone, or just turn it to your local news, or hell, if you're staying in a hotel, you can just ask the lobby person, you know, what's going on? Can you look this up for me? Computers are everywhere. It's inescapable. So if you do something wrong, I mean, sorry, court of opinion is just gonna be a thing. But don't forget that is a part of it. They felt like maybe he didn't have a fair trial because the you know we all saw what happened. And the fact that it took us this long to get to trial and all that stuff in regards to this, I just let you know. I mean, they even fight against it when they're sitting right there in front of you. You ever have a little child and you catch them red-handed and they try and come up with something, lying, just lying. You did it. Now go on, take your cookie, go on in there, stay out that cookie jar. But again, so just Be mindful of that because it's not over in a lot of different ways. It's not, our fight isn't over. Because let's be real, they kept doing it even after even after even after this Derek Chauvin thing and so many countless other murders happen on camera. They still continue to not care. Then they was doing stuff with their own cameras on, and you finna ride the lightning, son. What? What? So even with cameras on their bodies, they still were doing things that were inherently wrong and handling things in a way that you should not be handling if you are a public official in that way. The people that the oath that you claim to protect and the people that you claim to protect, you treat us like fish in a barrel. Even with their own cameras on and knowing that people are filming. That man looked at that camera in the eye and just knew in his mind he was not doing anything wrong and wasn't nothing gonna happen to him. Sit there for almost 10 minutes on that boy's neck, staring into the camera. The balls of that guy. But that's it. That's it. It's a wrap for now. We'll keep everybody posted and all that. Of course, overall 99 ENT. We got a few videos coming out. Believe Purpose will be coming out Wednesday. Obviously keep what's the trend? What's new 99? What's the trend 99? Keep it 99. You'll figure out the 99s and the titles before it. You'll figure it out if you watch us enough. So keep on watching and subscribing because that's how we get down. So again, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, I'm on Spotify. Thanks for tuning in. YouTube, overall 99 ENT. Much love. Holla. Thanks for watching. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms. Don't forget, every Thursday, the full podcast is on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and mama, I'm on Spotify. Overall 99 ENT bring you videos from Friday all the way to Friday. So be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate it. Again, thank you so much.